Welcome back to Sailing El Jaleo. Last week when we left off, we had just made our way through the Great Bridge Lock. From there we go through Great Bridge and we make our way down the Albemarle and Chesapeake Canal. And from there we cross Currituck Sound. And then we get into the North River. From the North River we cross Albemarle Sound and we make our way down the Alligator River. From there we go through the Alligator River Pungo River Canal and we make our way into the Pungo River. I'm not sure if we'll get all that distance today, but we're going to try. So I guess we might as well go ahead and get right into it. Grab a drink, climb aboard, and let's get going. At the end of last week's episode, we had just snagged one of the free docks on the west side of the Great Bridge. And you can stay at the free dock for up to 48 hours, so we did stay for one full day. And that allowed me to do some reprovisioning. So I ran to the grocery store. I think I made 2 trips. I got a bunch of pizzas, just some other, odds and ends that we needed. I love pizza. I know it's bad for you, but it's one of my guilty pleasures. So it was nice to be stocked up on pizza again. And also, this is the only place where I eat out. So I do eat out in the 9 months that I'm on the boat. I only eat out twice a year. I don't stop anywhere in Florida, even though there's plenty of opportunities. I just don't eat out at all. It's expensive. Eating out nowadays, even at a fast food restaurant, is just ridiculously expensive, which is, I'm sure, a pain a lot of people are feeling. But here they have it's not Jersey Mike's. That's the subs. I love Jersey Mike's. I love it Mike's Way. In that pepper relish they have is absolutely heavenly. So once on the way south and then again on the way north, I do stop here and I eat a sub from Jersey Mike's. So those are my 2 times a year that I eat out. And and also at this stop, it's really nice. There's a park for the dogs to play in, so we get, we do 3 or 4 walks a day. We just get out and go nuts. So it's a great place to stop. The day we leave Great Bridge, Virginia is one of the longest and busiest days of the year for us. So we got up at 5 so we could make the 7 o'clock Great Bridge opening. And from there, just on the other side of the bridge is the Atlantic Yacht Basin. And this is our first major refuel and rewater since leaving Delaware City. Finding reasonably priced fuel along the Intracoastal Waterway can be very challenging, and Atlantic Yacht Basin has the absolute best price that I've found anywhere on the East Coast. The day we went through there, and there's Neptune, greeting a boater. The day that we went through there, the diesel was under $3 a gallon, which is just unheard of. That's the cheapest it's ever been in the time that I've been boating, so it's just wonderful. And to refuel and rewater typically takes about an hour, and there are a couple of swing bridges coming up that we have to make it through on schedule, so it's a very stressful morning to get through the bridge, get docked, get fueled, get rewatered, and get back on the road so we can make the rest of our time commitments for the day. The rewatering situation was a little bit frustrating this time. Normally I like to use up all of our water. I'll do all of the laundry in the boat so that I can refill every drop of water when we're at Atlantic Yacht Basin. And the water was running super slow this morning, which was frustrating. And it was critical that we got out of there at 8 o'clock so we could make the Centerville Turnpike Bridge at 8:30, and then we could make the North Landing Bridge at 9:30. So it was critical that we got out, and it's really important for me to get in front of as many boats as I can because it can actually take up a lot of time waiting for boats to get through a bridge. So I need to be at the front of the queue so I can get through the bridge and then drop the hammer and make it to the next bridge. So it's a little bit stressful this morning, and typically when they're starting to do when the Great Bridge is doing its 8 o'clock opening, that's when I like to be leaving. That means I'm about 5 minutes ahead of all of the other boats that are coming through. And this is a really busy time for boats to be coming through because the Centerville Turnpike Bridge does not open. I believe it's from 6 till 8:30. So this is basically their first opening of the day, and everyone is chomping at the bit to get going. And of course, I'm the slowest boat in the water. And then we hit some really thick fog. It was some of the thickest fog I had ever been through. And there was actually a boat directly behind me on AIS. It was almost touching me on the screen, but I couldn't see it. It was pretty crazy. So always make sure you have really good GPS, so when you get into a situation where you have little to no visibility, it's ultra critical to know exactly where you are in the water, especially in a narrow canal. You could easily, and this canal is covered with snags on the sides, you know, tree stumps, that kind of stuff, so knowing where you are is very critical. But so I left Atlantic Yacht Basin actually before we had completely re-watered, and everything was a mess. The hose was strewn everywhere, ropes were everywhere, and I'm sorry, lines were everywhere. And I'm really a stickler on line safety. I don't like having loose lines laying anywhere. They can fall overboard and get caught in the prop. You can trip on them. They're just a real hazard. Unattended or uncared for ropes are a real problem. And I usually take care of them right away, but I just couldn't this morning because the water was running so slow. So anyway, we got going. When that bridge started to open, I dropped lines, cut loose. I still had one water jug that wasn't filled, but it's not the end of the world. You know, I'll just do one less load of laundry between here and the Waka Wachi Marina. So it is what it is. The timing was more important this morning, so we got back on the road. We made it through. A couple of boats passed me before we got to this Centerville Turnpike Bridge, so not the end of the world. There were still 8 or 10 behind me. And at that point, once I get through the Centerville Turnpike Bridge, I want every boat to pass me, and they will naturally because I'm slower. But also, if there's a big line of boats at the North Landing Bridge, that gives me more time to get there and to get through, because there'll just be a queue, which takes a while to clear. So we made it through we just barely made it through the North Landing Bridge. As you'll see, we were the last ones. I had the hammer dropped. You know, we were running at 2,300 RPM, which I just do not like to do. But if we got stuck there, it meant we'd lose at least a half an hour, if not more. And then we wouldn't get as far in the North River as I had hoped to. So we just made it. Making it between bridges is always stressful for us because we are so slow, but we made it. So everything was good. After making it through the North Landing Bridge, we could drop her back down to 1,800 RPM and proceed at a much more normal pace. And I was able to get all the ropes cleaned up, and that was good. So peace of mind there. And up next was one of our least favorite stretches of the Intracoastal Waterway. There's 2 stretches I don't particularly care for. One is Cape Fear River, and the other is Currituck Sound, which is where we were going through now. It's just a big, wide, shallow bay. You just go on 2 long straight stretches. There's not really anything to look at. It's just kind of a boring place. So and I've said it in the past, I don't know, it just, it's just me. It just feels like there's bad juju there. I don't know anything about the history of the area or anything, but I don't know. I just always feel kind of blue going through there. Don't know what that's about. But anyway, after going through Currituck Sound, then we get to go through Coinjock, which is always kind of fun. You know, I'm a Pokemon Go dork, and there's a couple of spinners and gyms that you can get there, and I was even able to jump into a showcase in one spinner that was close to shore, so that was fun. And from there we did make it to the North River. So we didn't make it as far down the North River as I had hoped, but we made it a good distance. So the next day, crossing Albemarle Sound early in the morning wasn't going to be a problem. It was all going to work out the way we wanted to, and we anchored for the night. There were, you know, along the North River's pretty big, but it was very busy. So I think there were probably 10 to 12 boats within a probably 5-mile stretch. You can anchor anywhere in there. So everyone was pretty far spread out, but there was a lot of traffic there, and I think I might actually be on the traveling at the correct time of year. Normally when I go, I'm so late in the season that every anchorage is absolutely open. There's no problem. Getting a free dock in Great Bridge is no problem. Like, everything is no problem because I'm the dolt that's, you know, riding in the cold weather. But this year the weather's been wonderful. I think I'm traveling with some of the, you know, the main traffic heading south. And that actually is leading to a little bit of a problem. Right now, when I'm recording this, it's the 13th of November, and we are in the Ashepoo River, so we're in South Carolina. Georgia's only 1 day away. And Hurricane Sarah, I think it's designated 99L right now. It isn't officially a hurricane yet, but there's a 90% probability it will become one within the next 2 days. And some of the early tracks have it hitting us directly, which is not great, to say the least. So we're a little concerned about that. Most of the tracks have it hitting mid to South Florida, or some of them even have it getting stuck in the Yucatan and just never making it out of there. So, you know, you don't want to wish destruction hits other people, because that's, I don't know, kind of a dark thing to wish for. But I don't want it to hit us, so I don't know. Puts you in a weird ground. But we're just watching that develop. The water temperatures in the Caribbean are abnormally warm for this time of year. Normally we don't get, historically there have been hurricanes in November. It is still mid-November. But yeah, it's been a very warm season, so I was kind of hoping, you know, I in the back of my mind I knew something like this could develop, but yeah. So in the next few days, oh wubble, it's okay, we'll get out of the hurricane's way. Yeah. So in the next few days we'll know a lot more and we'll be able to get out of the way. So no matter where it's tracking, we've got some plans, so we should be good. We should be in good shape. And that's all we have time for this week. I would like to give a massive shout out to my Patreon crew. Without your guys' support, I wouldn't make these videos. And my Patreon crew is Joan and Juddy Judnick, Val and Chris Alcorn, Denise and Eli Sackett, Sherry Erickson, Deb Shaw, Matthew Spotton, Peter Allen, and Natalie Linehan. Thank you guys so very much. Your support really means the world to me. I do have one legacy patron member, and her name is Joan Linbow. Unfortunately, she has passed on, but she lives on in our hearts forever. We really miss you, Joan. If you are interested in joining our Patreon crew, there is a link in the description down below, and that'll take you to our Patreon page where you can sign up. And there are hundreds, literally hundreds of extra videos and photos of our travels, and I try and keep everything there up to date and post at least once or twice a week, so it gives you a little peek behind the curtain. If you do like our videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. That'll help us out more than you'll ever know, and that actually doesn't cost you anything, so hit that like button. Alrighty, I hope you all are well, and we'll see you next week.